last session we discussed about scheduling semantics. So in that reactive region, there is a region called reactive region. In that, program block is going to execute. Now we are going to see what is a program block. So this program construct provides a race-free interaction between the design and the test bench. All the elements declared within the program block will get executed in the reactive region. So as like a model, here we are using program construct, and the program name, and then end program. Okay. This is mainly used to develop the test bench part. To overcome the race condition happens between the DUT and the test bench, we are using this program block. Because if both are happens at the same time, execute at the same time, okay, the design may miss the signals to catch up. The input signal forces from the test bench. Okay. The design may be miss their signals when both are happen at the same time. So we are keeping this execution in different region. DUT happens in the active region, and the design, sorry, the test bench, actually that is program block, happens at the reactive region. In a similar way as like model, we can pass the input and output arguments, ports. Let's see an example here. Here this is the design. Design is implement using module. So in the design name is design EX. Then output, here what we are doing, we are assigning the value for this address. This is nothing but the output argument. Okay. Output port, 8-bit port. For that we are assigning value 10 within the initial beginning. This side, the test bench. This is nothing but the top, test bench top. Within this top module, we are instantiating the DUT, design EXX as a DUT, and then this is the test bench created here. Implement that using program block. To show the difference, what happens when I declare this as model, okay, that we are seeing now. First, it is implemented using model test bench. Okay, that test bench is instantiated here as test. So here the address pass as a signal. Okay, that signal we are displaying within this initial beginning using this $display. In design, we are assigning the value. That value we are capturing is pass from here to here, and we are getting that, and we are displaying here. Let's run and see. Now the test bench is implemented using model. So both design EX and the test bench both are happening running at the same region module that will happen in active region. So if we see address equal to 0, so address value we are assigning as 10, but here in the test bench we are receiving 0. Just both are run at the same time. Before receiving the value, we are displaying. So default value of address is displayed here. Now, if I use program block instead of the module, the program will use now I run the same code. Now the change that it is instead of model I use program here. Now we are receiving the value there because this is happening in one region, this is happening in another region. So this happens first in active region. Okay. So it is happening in the active region. So this value you are receiving here. That is the use of program block. You can avoid the condition happens between the DUT and the test bench. Next we are see about interface. So in Verilog, if you see, we are using the signals like this. All are independent signals. So we need to connect, we need to map each signals, okay, in the test bench. Here in system Verilog, interface construct is there, okay, which encapsulates all these signals, and it is used to communicate between the blocks. Here we can use to communicate between test bench and DUT. Likewise, we are encapsulate all these signals. Every signal we are put into the interface block. Interface is a construct available. Using that, we are developing an interface block. Inside that, we are going to put all these input-output signals, and through this interface, we are going to communicate between the blocks. An interface is a bundle of signal or net through which the test bench communicate with the design. Also specify the direction information. Inside the interface, we are going to mention the direction information of each signal and the timing information. So direction information we are mentioning with the help of mod code, and timing information with the help of clocking block that we are going to see now. So this is the general syntax for the interface block. Interface, the construct, interface name, you can give any name, and enter interface. Within that, you need to declare all the signals as logic. An interface can be instantiated hierarchy like module with or without ports. So this is the way we need to instantiate the interface. Interface is name we declare, right? We are creating interface name, interface block, that name, then instance name. Through this instance name, we can able to access the signals which is present inside the interface. Then advantages of interface. Allows the number of signals to be grouped together and represent as a single port. A single port handle is passed instead of multiple signal port. If we are putting all these signals into a single interface block, so that instead of using each and individual signal, wherever we need the signal, we just instantiate that interface and we can able to access the signals. Okay. And the interface declaration made once, and the handle is passed across the module and components. So inside the top module, okay, we are going to instantiate the interface block. So that is the actual physical interface. To access physical interface handle is created over there. Through that, we can able to access the interface. Okay. So wherever we need the interface through the handle, we can access. Then addition and deletion of signals are easy. So if you want to insert a particular signal, if I insert it in the interface block, everywhere it will take effect. And same way to remove any signal, if I just remove from the interface, it will take effect in all the places. In this example, we are going to perform this or transfer the signals to the interface. So this is a DUT, simple DUT. A, B are the input signal, C is the output signal. We are performing C equal to A plus B. So in test bench, I included this interface here. Okay. Before that, we just go through the interface. So interface, the construct interface name, you can give any name, and the end interface. Within that, you just want to declare all the signals as a logic. Here, interface is instantiated as INTF. Okay. INTF is nothing but the handle of this interface. To access the signal, using this handle, I can able to access. Then here I instantiate with the UT, nothing but the adder, and I mapped the signals. Dot A is represent this A. Okay. For that, I mapped the A which is present inside the interface. So INTF dot A. So in the same way I mapped B and C. Then within the initial block, I assign the value for A and B which is present inside the interface. So through this handle, I can able to access the signals. A INTF A equal to 6, INTF B equal to 4. Then I display the value of A, B, and after that I am checking the value of C. So this is the way we need to write the interface. Okay. And this is the way we need to create the handle, which is the actual physical handle of the interface. Wherever we need, we can access through this interface handle. The signals to access the interface, this handle name dot the signals. Okay. This way we need to access. So A64, B is 4, we are passing, and C value we are getting as 10. Here I declare all the signals as logic because DUT is dealing with 4 state data types 0, 1, X, Z. This testament is dealing with most of the construct we have as a 2-state data type. Okay, 0 and 1. To interconnect both, we need to use this logic. Logic is a 4-state data type, right? Instead of OR and read, can use logic. Then virtual interface. Interface is static in nature. Interface class, if you instantiate, okay. So that is static in nature as like module. Whereas class are dynamic in nature. If you create any component using class, okay, that is dynamic in nature. We need to instantiate and we need to create new object, okay, so that we can able to utilize the methods and property. So it is a dynamic in nature. But interface is static in nature. Okay, because of this reason, it is not allowed to declare the interface within the classes. So directly, the interface is not supposed to declare inside the class. Okay, because interface is static, but classes are dynamic in nature. So to overcome that, we need to use virtual keyword, virtual interface. Virtual interface is a variable of an interface type that is used in the class to provide access to the interface signal. While declaring the interface inside a class, okay, we should use virtual interface name and virtual interface handle. Likewise, we need to create an instance virtual interface handle inside the class. Virtual interfaces can be declared as a class property, which can be initialized procedural or by argument to new object. So once inside the class, if you instantiate an interface, the handle is created. For that, we need to assign the actual physical handle. Interface, you should use a common interface. Okay, you should not use different interfaces. In interface, we are instantiating in the top module. The same interface we should use everywhere. Okay. To get that handle of the actual physical interface, inside the virtual interface, we can access that in 2 ways. One is with the passing the handle in the new argument, in the new constructor. while I call a particular class, okay, I will instantiate a particular class, and then I need to call the new of to create object for that class. While creating object for the particular class, while I create new of, I need to pass the argument, which the argument is nothing but physical interface standard. So automatically, while the component is created, it receives the physical interface handle. Then that handle will be assigned to virtual interface handle in the particular class. This is the one way. The another way, you can create physical interface handle in the top module, and you said that you are assigned that to a particular class. There you should declare the virtual interface as a static. Okay. So if you use a static keyword, a common memory will be created for that. So wherever I need the virtual interface handle from that declaration where I declared as a static, right? So from there we can access the virtual interface handle. What I explained, I will again explain with the example so that you will understand clearly. All the interface variable methods can be accessed via virtual interface handle. That is virtual interface dot variable. So this is the way you need to instantiate inside the class virtual interface name and instance name. Here the same example what we discussed earlier. Here we are implementing with the test bench environment and test. So this is the design adder. We are going to perform C equal to A plus B. And interface, we declare all the signals A, B, C as logic. And in the test bench, we instantiate the interface as INTF. And I map the interface to the DUT. The signals A to the interface. Now, instead of assigning, in the early example, if you see, we are assigning the value in the top. Now, I am going to assign the value in the environment. Okay. So, test is nothing but the test bench program block that I instantiated here as T1, and I am passing the argument interface. Interface I am passing as an argument INTF. This is the actual physical interface that I am passing as an argument to the program block test. So see here, test is a program block. Here I receive the handle. So it should be the type of INTF. So I am receiving here, and then I instantiate environment as a ENV. So ENV we wrote separately as a class. It is a class. So that I instantiated here, and within this program block initial and begin, I create new for the environment. So while I create new of, I am passing the physical interface handle as an argument. What I receive here, that I am passing to the new of environment. Then I am calling env.run. So when I use like this, when environment is created, during that time it will receive. Okay. Here if you see explicitly, we wrote the env new of function for this environment. Function new virtual INTF VIF. Okay. So here we are passing the handle of actual physical interface that we are receiving here. Okay. Then that VIF is assigned to the VIF which is present in this class. This dot VIF is nothing but this one. So this environment is a class. Inside a class, you should not instantiate interface directly because it is dynamic in nature. So you should use virtual keyword. This VAF is nothing but virtual interface handle. So for this virtual interface handle, this is assigned. This VAF is assigned. This VAF is nothing but the actual interface which I created here. This one I passed to test, and through test it is passed via new of function, new of method. So when the environment is created, that time the new, through this new we are getting the handle and it is assigned for this VAF handle. Okay. Now in the environment I can able to get the interface handle. Okay. In interface we have the signals A and B. So inside the run task I directly VAF.A I assign 6 and VAF.B I assign 4. Then I am checking, I'm just printing A and B values. Okay. VAF.A, VAF.B, and then after some delay, I am checking the C value, VAF.C. Here you should declare as a virtual INTF because we are receiving here as a virtual interface. Then $finish. AB, we are passing as 6 and 4, and C value is 10. Then mod port. So mod port we are using inside the interface block. Mod port derives from the keyword module and port. They identify signal ownership from point of view of the module using the mod port. Nothing but particular component and its point of view, what is the direction of the signal that we are mentioning inside the mod port. We are representing the direction of the signal inside mod port. The mod port groups the specific groups and specifies the port direction to the wire or signals declared within the interface. Okay. For the signals which are declared inside the interface or corresponding component, component point of view, what is the direction that we need to mention inside the mod port. So we should use this mod port keyword. Mod ports are declared inside the interface with the keyword of mod port. Okay. This is an example interface. In the interface, within this interface block, we are using three signals A, B, and C. So A and B are input and C is the output inside the QUT. So that we are declared as logic inside the interface. Now, if I use mod port here, so mod port you can do for mod port for driver and mod port for monitor. So mod port driver with the point of view, the driver point of view. Okay. So A, we are drive from here to DUT, and B, we are forcing to DUT. So both are output for the driver, and C, we are receiving from the DUT. Okay, that is the input for driver. So like this, we need to declare A, B are outputs, and C is the input. And mod port for monitor point of view, all the signals we are receiving as an input. It's capture the interface signal and it's going to convert into a transfer. So all the signals A, B, C are declared as an input. This is the design. So the previous example, here the interface we implemented with the mod port. Mod port driver, outputs are A, B, and input is C. Then all are same. when you use the mod port in the interface to access the signals A, B, C, so you should use that mod port name. For example, if I want to assign value for A, which is present inside the interface handle VIF. Okay, inside VIF, I have a driver where is nothing but this name. Then the particular signal name A. So likewise, we need to access. So C also, I'm accessing like this VIF interface handle that mod port name dot signal. Then clocking block. Okay. Clocking block specify timing and synchronization for the group of signals. Going to use for synchronization. The timing related to clock event that the test bench uses to derive and sample those signals. So this is the way we need to write the clocking block. Here we are mentioning the input skew and output skew timing. Okay. So what is input skew and output skew, that we will see in next slide. So here the general syntax is clocking block name. At here we are going to do reference to the clock. Okay, at passage of clock, default input as 1 and output as 2. That means for input, okay, what are all the signals declared with the input, for every signal the input Q will be as 1. Then output, to declare the signals as the output here, how many signals we declare output, for all these signals output Q will be as 2. Okay, by default, that we are mentioning in this line. Or else we can explicitly write like this. For this signal from DUT, I want to assign as 1. Instead of writing here, we can also mention here. So that is applicable for only this signal. And instead of statement in the code, somewhere we can use like this. Okay, at passage of VIF.clock. We want to use the clock means through the visual interface standard. I can use like this at passage of VIF.clock. So if you use a clocking block, you can directly mention like this at VIF visual interface standard dot CV. CV is nothing but this clocking block. So automatically it will happen at passage of clock. Instead of writing this, you can mention it like this if you use a clocking block inside the interface. Okay, I told input and output skew, right? So input skew is nothing but this input skew is specified then the signal is sampled at the skew time unit before the clock event. So clock is the reference. Input signal will be there. The input signal will be sampled by the DUT, okay, just before the clock of rising passage. If you mention at passage of clock, just before the rising passage of clock, it will sample that signal. So this delay, this sampling time, we are mentioning as an input skew here, as one. And output skew after the passage of clock. After the passage of clock, the duty will drive the output. If you mention as to after passage happens after as to time, the output will drive to the derive from the duty. So that is the use of input skew and output skew. Then skew can be specified explicitly to signals that I already explained, right? So if you want to specifically mention input and output skew for a particular signal, you can mention like this instead of giving default hash some value. You can mention like this. clocking block at clock input. This is the input skew for from duty signal. It's just a variable. And output skew, output variable are signals. The default input skew. If I didn't mention anything, here I didn't mention anything. Okay, just I use input and outputs. I didn't mention here default. So automatically the default input skew is assigned as one step, and default output skew will assign as 0. So that is the default if you didn't mention anything inside the clocking block. As one step means that the signal is sampled at the end of the previous time step just before the corresponding clock event happens. That means if I mention as 1, just before the corresponding passage happens, it will sample. As 0 skew for the input signal means that signals are sampled at the same time of the clock event, but it will happen in the observed region. Modbot with clocking block. We saw about modbot separately, then how to write the clocking block. Now, if I wrote the clocking block, then if I want to write the modbot, okay. So inside the clocking block itself, I mentioned the direction, right? Modbot is used to mention the directions, right? So in clocking block itself, I mentioned the directions. So directly I can use this clocking block here. Just you need to pass the clocking block here. Clocking block we already write here. Okay. Input and output skews for the input and output signals in clocking. Modbot name. This clocking block we should pass clocking block name. Then clock signal input clock. If you are using reset, you need to pass the reset also. Input clock, comma input reset, comma clocking block name. If you want to access the interface signals, okay, assume that inside the interface block you are using clocking block and as well as modbot. Now, if you want to access a particular signal inside the interface, through the interface handle dot this modbot name dot the clocking block name dot that signal. So likewise, you need to access. Let's do an example. Here is the design. Design is nothing but a memory. Okay, model name is min, and clock reset write data to write data. We are going to write into the memory, and the address which is the corresponding address of memory, and write read is the control signal to perform write and read, and the R data is the read data. So here you need to declare all the input and output. Here we created a memory, and if it is not a preset, that performing checking the write read signal, and if it is 1, we are performing write. If it is read, we are performing read. Then first thing, it is a transaction. So class TX. So all the input signals we should declare, and that should be declared as a RAM. Write data, address, then write read. Read data is coming from DT, so you no need to declare that as RAM. And we are writing constraint. Address should be unique. It's a unique constraint, so that each time when you are generating a transaction, you will get a different address, unique addresses. Then interface and interface. Inside that, we are declaring all the signals, write data, address, write read, and R data as a logic. Then we are writing a clocking block. This clocking block for driver we are using, that is nothing but here it is called BFM, first functional model. The input with respect to this driver, R data is input, and remaining we are going to derive from the driver. So this output, the driver point of view. Then mod port, the clocking block we created. Then mod port name is nothing but IPFM. Then we need to pass the clock reset and the clocking block. Then we start from the top hierarchy. So model top, clock and reset are declared as stitch. Then here we are generating the clock. In this initial block, we are generating the clock, and reset we are applying, and then after to passage of clock, we are making it as 0. Here we insert mem, nothing but DUT. Mem, the instance name is mem_inst. Then we map the corresponding signals of this memory with interface signals. So this VIF is nothing but interface standard. Name INTF is nothing but the interface block name. Okay. So it is instantiated as VIF. And clock and reset we are generating in the top order. So that we need to pass to the interface. See in the interface input logic clock and input logic reset. So clock and reset we are receiving here in the interface, that we are passing here. So we are map and passing, or directly you can pass clock and then reset. Thus it is created here. Clock and reset we are generating that we are passing to the interface. Okay. Then here it is mapped clock, we are mapped with the VIF.clock. So it's clock which is present in the interface. The same way reset, and then W data, address, write, read, R data. Everything we map with interface signals. Now here test TB off. Okay. Test is nothing but the test bench program block that is instantiated as TB. So we are going to say about program block. So here we should declare all the files in a proper way, proper hierarchy from low to high. Okay. Then only the compiler will understand it. Compiler will compile all the files first. Then we are going to do the simulation. Okay. So, for example, this environment, inside the environment consists of generator, BFM, all these components. If you put this environment on top and BFM and below the environment, when compiler comes from here, top to bottom, okay, it will enter into the environment file, and it does not recognize what is gen and what is BFM. Okay, so you should write BFM and gen first, and then you put this environment file here. Okay, now the test is nothing but the program block. Inside this program block, I instantiated env as a env inst, and I created new. Okay. Then I call the run task which is present inside the environment, env inst.run. So automatically the run task will be called. So here we have the run task that will be called. Inside this environment, I instantiated gen is nothing but a generator file. BFM is a separate file. It is nothing but the class names. I instantiated here, and I create a memory for both. And within the run task, I am calling the run task of generator and BFM. Okay. See, generator class, this one we instantiated there, and we call the run task gen.run. So automatically this run task will be called over there. I told two methods to access the interface. One we saw in the earlier example. We are passing while we creating new for a particular class. Here I am going to access the interface standard in another way. In test bench.sv file, nothing but the top module, I instantiate the interface as VIF. Okay. So this VIF I am assigning to another VIF which is present in the CFG class. Okay. This time. The CFG is nothing but the another class CFG. Okay, within that I instantiate the interface. It is a class, so I instantiated as virtual memintf as a CVIF. Okay. So here I instantiate this one and with the keyword static. So when I declare this as a static, so memory will be created, common memory will be created. So if I pass the handle here, this VIF, I think that assume that we are instantiating the physical interface here at 100 location. Okay, so a particular location 100 memory is created for the virtual physical interface. The memory is created that is located at 100 position. I am passing that 100 here. Okay, that 100 I am assigning to CVIF which is present inside the CFG. Okay. Here CVIF is declared as static. To access the static property, we can use scope resolution, and through the class name we can able to access. So CVIF scope resolution CVIF. Okay, for that we are assigning the actual physical interface. So now that 100 is assigned for this CVIF. It is a static one. Okay. Now in the same way, inside the CFG, I instantiated a mailbox as a mbox, and I created new, and then that also I declared as a static. So that memory also be in a constant location. Now come to the generator. In generator, I need to access the interface because after the reset, I need to generate the transaction. Okay. So how I can know the reset signal is 0 or 1? I need to access the interface. Access the reset that is present inside the interface. So interface handle I need to get inside this gen class. Okay. So you need to instantiate the interface memintf as VIF. Okay. Here we should use virtual because it is a class. In a dynamic class, we should not directly instantiate the static virtual. Okay. So you should declare with the keyword virtual. Now this VIF is nothing but the virtual interface handle. Okay. So for this, we need to assign the stored what? Okay. See VIF equals 100. Okay, that 100 we need to pass for this interface handle which we created here. Okay. So within the run task, see here this line CFG scope resolution CVIF. Okay. So this is the static. So through the scope resolution to the class name, I am getting that 100 and I assign to this VIF. So you can use this VIF or just VIF. So now that 100 I received here. That is nothing but the location where the interface is live. Okay. Then I can access the signals. Wait VIF dot reset equal to 0. So until reset becomes 0, okay, it becomes 1, I am waiting. When reset becomes 1, it will enter to the below line. It is waiting until reset becomes 0. So first initially we are making reset as 1. Then after 2 cycles only we are making reset as 0. So until that the generator it will wait. When reset is 1, it will not enter to the below line. it will wait for reset to become 0. When we make the reset as 0, that means we release the reset. So it will enter to this block and it is generating the transaction. So inside that for loop we are using, inside the for loop, T is nothing but the transaction, this TX class that we instantiated as T, and we are creating memory for that. Assert, we are randomizing the T with it's an inline constraint. We are keeping write read signal as 1. So because I am going to perform write operation, so I make this write read signal as 1 with the help of inline constraint during randomization. After that, I need to put this transaction to the mailbox. Through the mailbox, I can receive the transaction in the BFM, and through the BFM, I am going to drive the data to the DUT. So here I need to get the mailbox. The mailbox where we declared here. How I can access this? Through this class. It is also declared as static. So CFG scope resolution mbox, CFG scope resolution mbox dot put. So we are putting this T into the mailbox. Then this is happening for 5 times. We are performing write, and then to perform read again 5 times. I am creating a memory for the transaction and I am randomizing. That time I am keeping the constraint write read as 0. That means we are going to perform read. Then we are putting the transaction into the mailbox. As soon as when you put the transaction into mailbox, the BFM will receive that one. BFM, there is nothing but the driver. Inside the driver run task, this implement using forever. Okay. So continuously it will check for to get the transaction from the mailbox. So here, after getting the transaction, driver or BFM bus functional model should force the transaction signals. It should convert the transaction signals into a interface signals. That means it should drive the signals to the interface. So I need to access the interface standard here inside the BFM. So I declared virtual min INTF as DVAF. Okay. Virtual interface candle. For this candle, I need to get the actual interface candle is stored in the CFG. So inside the run task, I collected. For example, I told 100. That 100 location we are assigning to this DVAF. Then in forever in the mailbox, in the generator we put the transaction right here. So it is waiting for get is a blocking until we get, it will wait. So here the mailbox we can access CFG scope resolution mbox dot get method. We are collecting this T here. Then we are checking inside the T. We have the control signal address data everything right. Just on this control write read. We are checking if it is 1. I'm going to perform write mem task that is written here. So write mem at passage of VF.cd instead of writing passage of clock, you can write like this. I'm converting this transaction signals to interface signal. Okay. Key consists of address that is mapped, that is assigned to address which is present inside the interface. So this is the interface handle, this is the mod port name, and this is the blocking block name. Inside that we have the address. Same way, we are converting the data into this interface data, write it to interface write it. Here I store the address so that while reading I can use the same address. For the purpose, I create one queue here in the address st. So in that, using push friend, I put the address. While reading, Here, after getting this transaction, we are comparing write read. Okay, if it is 1, we are performing write, else we are performing read. So in this read task, at passage of clock, okay, here I take the read data from the stored queue. Okay, address st. Here I put the address. By pop back, I collect the address and that is mapped to the interface address. The same way write read we are giving. So read data we are receiving. In the interface R data we can collect the R data. That's all about this example. And another thing is I explained. So this way we need to include the files. The remaining we will see later.